I'm Louisa Ashford from LA Training Academy, Creating Salon Success. I'm here today with Laura Muse. Laura is a property investor. Hi, Laura. She's a property investor, entrepreneur, and social media queen. And she's come on to talk to us today about social media. So I'm not going to tell you any more. I'm going to let Laura introduce herself. So if you want to just tell us a little bit more about yourself, Laura, what it is you do, and sort of your journey to how you've got where you are today. Please.
Yeah, sure. So, like Louise said, my name's Laura Muse. I'm a full-time property investor based in Sheffield. We've been investing in property now for about 8 years. Anything from single buy-to-lets through to new build projects. We have an array of different services within our business, but really Wheel was full-time probably 18 months ago. And March 19, prior to all that time, we'd always utilised our own money to buy a property. But from March 19 to date, we've raised over £4 million of investment through social media. So it's really obviously changed our business. We've been able to scale very quickly.
Yeah.
I've got a background in sales and marketing. My husband has been a multiple business owner in Sheffield for quite a while now. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell, really.
Wow, it's very impressive, very impressive. So obviously you've got a group on Facebook where you do actually sort of guide people to use their social media like effectively and get the most out of it. So can you tell us a little bit more about your group and what it is that you do with your sort of followers?
Yeah, sure. So the group is called the Ultimate Social Media Community with Laura Muse. So anyone's welcome to join it. It's for business owners and property investors. Obviously, I am a property investor, but we do obviously have, did have businesses before that. So for me, when I first started in property in particular, I really struggled with the content, kind of knowing my target market, branding myself, my personal and my business branding. So I've just designed the group to help people as much as I can. You know, I'm not a marketing expert. You know, I'm just sharing what I've done in the past and what I'm currently doing now. And it's helping other people. Well, it's helping other people. And I just felt there was a bit of a shortage of that social media support, especially for property investors and also small business owners. So yeah, that's kind of why I did it. And I think we've got about 600 members now. But yeah, we just, you know, try and help each other out as much as possible, inspire each other, give people content ideas, because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. But more importantly, it's about being consistent. So we do challenges in the group. And obviously consistency and being visible is kind of what's got me where we are now in our property business.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the content is so difficult, and for a lot of, obviously, a lot of my followers are salon owners, and it is so difficult knowing what to put out there sometimes. So you've obviously got a system in place, haven't you? So will you tell us a little bit more about this amazing system?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, like I say, when I first started March 19, really seriously thinking about using social media to grow our business, I was a little bit hit and miss. There was no system, was nothing to follow. I kind of made it up as I went along. But what I did realise very quickly is there's 4 key areas. So don't laugh. I've called it the Muse system, which obviously my surname. So you remember me.
Absolutely. We'll forget the system, will we?
No, definitely not. But obviously it does sound, you know, there is really 4 massive areas that I think are key to success on social media. Okay. So the M is all about brand, so marketing you and your business brand. So personal and business branding is really important.
Yeah.
Then we've got U, which is understanding your target market. Now, what I found is when I started speaking to a lot of business owners and property investors, is they were just firing out loads of content, but actually they didn't know the audience that the content was intended for. So nailing down your target market, understanding who your target market is really important.
Yeah.
Obviously, the S is for all the social media platforms, because there's bloody loads of them. So it's kind of where to start. People get very overwhelmed. You feel like you should be on all of them in case you're going to miss out, but that's genuinely just not the case. And the E is all about engaging content. That's obviously how your customers engage. You build up the know, like, and trust. And that's kind of how people get to the whole know, like, trust, build your business. repeat business and referrals from that. So that's it. So M is for marketing you and your business, the U is for you to understanding your target market, S is for social media platforms, and the E is for engaging content.
Fab, sounds good. I think you're right on that. I think a lot of people, we feel like we need to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything. And if you did know your target audience, maybe you'd realise that the majority of your followers might only be on Facebook or on Instagram, or just pick one or two. And I think we just feel that we should be in everything. And we often jump straight to the engaging content, or attempting the engaging content. We don't necessarily do like a plan beforehand, knowing your audience and like knowing how you're going to market yourself. So do you have a strategy in place to encourage people to sort of like, you know, put everything down on paper beforehand or on the computer, whatever they do?
Yeah, so it's quite in-depth what we do really. So it's all kind of about evaluating your business, so seeing where your business, so we always start with the end in mind. So obviously if it's a business that's been running for a while or it's a new business, where does that business want to be? Because you've really got to have the content level pitch throughout. So if you're, so for example, if you're just starting out in business, you've got a really naff logo, you're doing some really like inconsistent content, but actually you want a really big business, that's not the best way to start.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just evaluating where you want to be, and then we put a plan in place. Obviously we need to find out where these people are, where your market is. So for example, in the utilising, understanding your target market, there's an age group called baby boomers, so
nice.
Known as silver surfers, for example. If they're your target market, these people only really go on Facebook. They do spend a lot of time on Facebook. They spend about 2.5 hours a day on there.
Wow.
They look for things like rewards. So if you're a business that's targeting that age group and you haven't got a reward system, potentially you're missing out on a massive amount of customers.
Right.
So that's why it's really important for us to really deep dive into how you, where your target market is, how are you going to engage with the type of things that they like. So for example, if your customer base is a silver surfer, as we call them, they are very loyal. Whereas if it's now something like Generation Z, for example, which is the latest generation, you know, they're not loyal to any kind of following. It's all about quick tech, interaction, video. So very different polar opposites, obviously a different age range. So if you don't know that, how on earth are you going to find and market to these people? And then obviously from that, we then develop which social media profiles that we're going to spend time on, spend money on, because we do need to do some paid advertising. And then we really should write out a content plan. Now I know that obviously you've got a really good content planner that you send out to salon owners. But it's, you know, you need to do it, because if you don't write it down, you will never get it done. Yeah. And I passionately feel like right now, obviously we're currently in lockdown, people who aren't utilising social media and being digital in their business, they're going to suffer. They may be suffering already. I mean, you've been doing some amazing things.
Thank you.
On social media, but I would probably say you are the minority in your niche, if I'm being honest. You know, for me, it's now the time for people to step up and lead the way. And if you don't do it now, people will remember that actually when we were in that lockdown period, that business vanished and they didn't support me. They didn't show that they were actually leading the way, and then will move their business elsewhere. So it's a prime time for you to kind of grab the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. You've got to, because so many people are sort of just sitting back waiting to find out what's going to happen, and then you've got another section of people who are just going full throttle, like you said, take the bull by the horns and just do it. And you're right about the planner that I do send out when I try and make it a bit. It's on my website, but that's just like a prompt. You know, obviously I don't know their target audience, etc. So it's really important that they need to do the research as well first, isn't it? So
100%.
Yeah, definitely. I think they need to.
And I think as well, with the current situation, what I've been seeing from a lot of people is maybe they have been pre-scheduling content, which is great, and that's what you should be doing to obviously you leverage your time, etc. But at the moment, people are still sending out content which is pre-lockdown, and it's not relevant. So one of the major factors in anything that you're doing is your content has to be relevant, and you have to be using the language that we're currently using today, which is, you know, we are in lockdown, people are, you know, some people are in difficult situations, some people's businesses are thriving, some people's aren't. And I think people have to be mindful for that and then adjust their content to fit in with that, which not a lot of people seem to be doing. And I think that obviously on the flip side is going to have an adverse effect. So
as an example of that, we often schedule all of our posts, and obviously they've gone out there, and then I don't think clients really wanted to see, you know, just before Good Friday, we were sort of like prompting people to get booked in. We were like, have you got your hair booked in? And everyone was lucky enough, I saw it, that it was going out. I thought, oh my gosh, could you imagine if everybody were like, no, I wish. So you've got to be on the ball, haven't you, and make sure that you do, if you have scheduled your content, just quickly go through it and check that it's not going to upset anybody because they can't get the nails done or the hair done.
No, definitely, and I do feel people are definitely a lot more sensitive at the moment than before, understandably. So just maybe think a little bit more, especially presently, about what you are putting out there and how it can be read by others, because we all know the thing that I love, so video is absolutely king for me, and I think if you put in video out there, people can read your body language, obviously your movements, and they can gauge how you're saying something. Whereas if you're doing it on text and images, it's very difficult, and we all know with text is, you know, depending on what mood you're in, you can read it 1,000 different ways. So I think at the moment you should be doing video content because people will connect with you on a real level, and they'll gauge because you're pitching that content at a certain level to them, so they're going to understand it and not take offence.
That's a good point, especially like for in our industry, because so like obviously we do connect on a personal level with our clients anyway. We're always one-to-one with people, and we've got that relationship, and you've got to keep that relationship going, haven't you? And at the minute the only way we can do it is online, so we've got to kind of be relevant to them and be there like we normally are. So I think video is a good way of letting them see you still.
No, definitely, and you know, it comes back to the whole sales process. Yes, you might not feel like selling right now or for whatever reason, but you should all, anyone who's in business is a salesperson. Even if 100%, you know, I'm a property investor. Am I a salesperson? 100%. You know, we're always trying to sell, you know, uninvertedly sell our services, our courses, that type of thing. But you don't have to be telling people all the time about your services. You can seed, and that's what people should be doing now, is seeding.
It's perfect time, isn't it, to do it? We've got time to think about it, whereas normally we're racing around and working 12 hours a day in the salon. We haven't got the time, so now is the time to do that, isn't it?
And now's the perfect time to find new business. You know, that, you know, people, especially in salons, a lot of them probably have gone completely off grid. Well, what about them people who want to connect with, you know, I know you've got a lot of engagement from your customer base, and they are very loyal, your customer base, because you constantly put content out there all the time.
Always in their face.
No, but you, I know from past conversations we have, you've said if you haven't put things out there, that actually they've contacted you to ask if you're okay, and that's because they're so used to you being consistent. If people are not being consistent now, then it's a chance for you to gain more followers and new clients.
You can't just sit on your laurels, can you, and just take a back seat. You've got to still do it. And the amount of my clients that do actually say, I mean, I think it's just cheese, and I'm like, hiya, but loads of my clients go, oh, Louisa, you just cheer me up when you just come on and you go, morning, and I'm like, oh gosh, cringe. But they like it. So I think, you know what, that's what I'm like. That's what they see when they come in the salon. So that's what they want to see on their social 100%. Media, don't they?
You know, and I think at the moment there's so, I mean, you know, we do a lot on social media. We're on social media every day. But I must admit, these last few weeks, I have been a lot more selective with what I'm listening to, because, yes, we all know what's going on. Yes, it's affecting everybody. But I'm quite a positive person, and the last thing I want is to be kind of my energy drawn from me because of someone constantly being down. And, you know, I get it if they're struggling, but for me personally, it's a little bit about self-preservation. And a lot of people say with social media as well, you know, there's so many negative people and I don't want to put myself out there subject to negative comments, etc. Well, just completely safeguard yourself from it, especially now. I think it's quite important you do that, and it is important that you take time out from social media, because at the moment, obviously, you've got it's on the news, on the radio, everywhere you go, they're talking about this situation. Yeah. But if you can bring some positivity and tell people that you actually are still doing X, Y, and Z, like, you know, in our business, we're still looking for properties, we're still working with investors, we're still taking money on a return basis. We genuinely are. And I want to inspire other property investors not to just sit back and think, oh, I'm going to wait till this is over. Because this is a perfect time to build your profile and your business.
I think that's really important, because I'm a bit like you, positive. I don't want to see all the doom and gloom, and it's not very in my head in the sand. I know it's happening and I do have to acknowledge it, but at the same time I want to feed myself with more positive things. So, and same with our clients, like, you know, we can acknowledge what's happening, and we can acknowledge we're having a bad day, or different emotions, because we are sort of, everyone's very up and down at the minute, aren't they, and stuff. But I think if you can just bring a little bit of positivity into people's lives, or even just acknowledge what we're doing. And I don't know, for example, I put on mine the other day, you know, how to help get rid of dry hands, because people are suffering with dry skin. So making some tips, but making it relevant to what's happening now. So it's acknowledging, it is rubbish, we've got all dry skin, but there are things that we can do to help.
And exactly, in normal cases, obviously, you'll be completely busy within your business, so you wouldn't have time to do that. And it's not, whereas now, like you've just said, you're making your content relevant to your audience. And that's what all other salon owners should be doing. Like, what can I be advising my customers that they can do from home? Why are you doing that? Because you want to retain that customer. Otherwise, because, for example, if someone, you know, a business down the road's doing that, advising people on X, Y, and Z, and they're like, well, my salon's not providing me with that, so, you know, that service, them tips online, I want to start watching them. They're going to grow to know, like, and trust them over you, because you're not supporting your clientele. So when everything does go back to normal, because it will, well, not normal, but we'll be back in humanity, they will potentially go elsewhere.
That is a risk, isn't it? If they start building that relationship with another person, they're like, oh, I'm going to go there. She really knows what she's talking about. Let's see what a treatments are like. And you can't risk it, can you? You've got to just be on it all the time and just doing something. I always think something's better than nothing, but now we've got the time to write that plan. And I think everyone should remember this Muse system, because it's so simple, and it's your surname, so then they can find you on Facebook as well. But I just think, like, marketing, understanding your audience, are two things that we know we need to do, and we think we do. But if it's not all written down and planned out, then you could be going off track a little bit, which I've done in the past. I've just kind of scattergun approach, just wanged loads of content out there thinking, well, I'm doing it, but not actually making it relevant. But I think you can do, you can make some content that's just sort of like a bit of fun when it comes to salons, but then you've also got to, like you say, be relevant as well on the other side. So make it a plan so that you don't do something fun every day. It's, you know, like, spread out.
It's got to be relevant. It's got to be relevant. And I think another point as well is, now is the perfect time to be analysing your competitors in your area to see what they're doing. So we've been doing that in our business, so SWOT analysis. So we've been analysing who's in our area, what type of content they're putting out there, looking at the engagement, so the likes and the comments and the shares that they're getting, writing all this information down, and then going onto all the different platforms and seeing where they're not putting any content out there, and things that we can do better than them, or we've got a better way of maybe producing it, for example, maybe a little bit more of a professional video, etc. So now is a great time, because when you go back to work, it's going to be so busy. Like, you're going to be getting them clients through the door, giving the treatment, work, hustle, and all this stuff that you could have actually done now to protect yourself a little bit better. So, for example, with Facebook, you can obviously go out there. There's a thing called AdSpy, so ADSPY.com. You can go on there, and if you've seen any adverts from other salon owners, you can actually copy the URL, put it in this website, and it will tell you kind of the interaction that they've had from people. So you can use that, you can analyse it and think, well, actually that's worked really well for them. I'm going to do that, because why fix what's not broken? So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it slightly with my own personality, with my own twist, do it a bit better, send it out, and then things that potentially aren't working, you can see exactly why it's probably not worked. One, can you do it better? Or two, is it just not really relevant to the market? Or again, they might have different target market to you. They might be targeting, you know, 60 plus. You might be targeting 25 to 35 year olds. So, yeah, I think
it's good to be aware of it though, because I didn't know that. I've only learned that recently about this ads spy. But I think it's really good to sort of analyse what people are doing, and I don't think that we do enough of that, because a lot of salon owners, including myself, I don't think we're all very, you know, as tech savvy as what we could be, just because we're doing treatments, we're more practical people. But I suppose when you are a business owner, you've got to learn that side, or outsource if not, which I'm a big fan of. But sometimes we have to take it on the chin and do it ourselves, or at least do some of it. So, and it's good to just know about it, so you can research it and find out what is working, like you say, and what's not. I think that's a really, really good point.
I think at the minute as well, I genuinely feel that obviously normally we're guilty of it. We're so busy working on, like, in our business, doing the day-to-day things, replying to emails, etc., etc. This for us is a time so we can actually work on our business, put some systems in place, research our competitors for social media content, and really drill down in what content is working, and analysing the content we've previously done, what's got engagement, what hasn't, and then we can go forward and not be wasting as much time, and just be a bit more streamlined in his approach, but utilising the social media calendar. So going forward, we can just do a copy and paste for the next 6 months. So when we do go back, you know, it's on there, you can outsource it, you've pre-done all the videos and all the content. If you want to add, like, so what we normally do is pre-schedule for 8 weeks on Facebook, and then Monday, Wednesday and Friday is pre-scheduled content. Tuesdays and Thursdays is something that I will do what's relevant right now. So it's me normally doing a video or something about properties, or for you, like going around your salon about a treatment, or something that new that's happening in your industry, and vice versa. So that's how we do it, and that's how I think other people should be doing it. And I think you should be posting on social media every day, and don't be afraid of thinking that, yeah, but it's too much, because not everyone's going to see that post that you did yesterday.
I always tell people that, like, it's surprising the very small percentage of people that do actually see your posts, isn't it? So if your content's engaging, Facebook knows that people want to see it, so it lets more people see it. But so never panic about putting too much out there. I always think you can't put enough out there. Really, and I'm like you, but I schedule something for every day, just because when we are in the salon, some days do go by and we haven't got the time to do something. So sometimes I'll just do it, I'll even do a double post. So we'll have one post out every day that's scheduled, and then I'll be posting extra things out, like you say, to make it more relevant, or something that's happening within the industry or in the world as it is right now. But I think this has been really, really informative. I've even learned all these words like baby boomers and generation. I feel like I'm on LinkedIn or something. I'm like, what is this? So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So, but obviously people can connect with you, can't they, in your group?
Yeah,
and more about these generation X, whatever. So I think that's really useful. So have you, obviously we've gone through loads of stuff there, but what tips would you just leave my followers, the salon owners, with, just to, I mean, you can just recap, but just to make sure that they are going to do a social media strategy, get their content planners ready, or at least, you know, use mine. So
for me, it's all about, you've got to be visible, you've got to be consistent, your content's got to be relevant to what's happening in the world. But it doesn't have to be talking about it. It can just be slightly adjusted. Obviously, people are a bit sensitive. And 100% setting up a social media calendar for the next 3-4 months. 3 months, 100%. If you can do longer, brilliant. But, you know, generic things. So, for example, for salons, about the different services you offer and the different types of treatments, etc. That's always good. That's evergreen content.
Yeah.
So evergreen is something that hasn't got a date stamp on it or a timeline. It can be reused and repurposed.
Ooh,
so
good. I like it. You should create your own dictionary, Laura.
Oh, because I'm Northern.
Well, I'm Northern too, so I get it. Yeah, maybe I should. Louisa and Laura's words.
But scheduling evergreen content for the next 3+ months, if you can do it, you know, brilliant, and then you can add to it. But that will make you consistent to your audience. So they're my top tips.
Fab, love it. So I'll put your details in the comments so people can connect with your group, if that's okay.
Yeah,
and so just remember the Muse system. So thank you so much for your time today, Laura.
Well, thank you.
Really appreciate it. I think we've learned loads, and I think you might be getting quite a few emails.
Join the group.
Yay, they will, I'm sure. Thank you so much.
No,